what we say in the International Migration Institute is that migration is not a problem to be managed, but it's a normal part of economic development and international relations, and we must find better ways of managing it that are more inclusive, in the sense that we have to take account of the needs of sending countries and of the migrants themselves, but also of the communities involved in both the receiving and sending countries. And we have to have a fundamental change in attitudes to make that possible. As long as migration is seen as a problem, it's impossible to find adequate solutions. Once it's seen as a normal part of change, then we can find new approaches. And that's what we're trying to do. The greatest goal we have in the IMI is really to understand the very complex forces that drive human mobility in the 21st century. And that means really doing empirical research, but also building conceptual frameworks that will increase knowledge and understanding. And we want to do that in a form that will be available and accessible to users, by which we mean policymakers, non-governmental organisations, associations, civil society. So our goal is really to discover how the whole thing works and make that accessible. Well, what's really specific about being part of the 21st century school is really linked to what we're trying to do, because what we're arguing is that you can't understand one issue like human mobility without linking it to all the other changes that are taking place at the current time. So the overall intellectual framework of the school is very important to us. But in addition to that, we have very specific collaboration, because migration is affected by some of the dimensions that other institutes are working on very directly. So for instance, we have a lot of dialogue at the moment with the Environmental Change Institute on the question of to what extent environmental change will change patterns of human mobility. We're working with the Institute of Aging, because changing demographic structures in terms of age, where people live and work and so on, are very important for us. And the Institute of Aging works in Africa as well, so there's a lot of common ground there. There are other areas that are also important to us, like for instance the Institute on Emerging Infections, because for instance HIV/AIDS and malaria also affect patterns of human mobility. And then finally the whole issue of how people communicate, which is crucial for mobility, is very much affected by new electronic communications. So we have a dialogue there with the Oxford Internet Institute on these issues.